Lions just recovered a fumble.
Bits of wisdom.
It's Harry Houdini, I'm pretty sure.
That's when it kind of becomes Home Improvement After Dark.
I guess that leaves us at the question of the week.
Very good. I don't know if you noticed, Jordan, but a really cool aerial shot of the table. Reasonably funny.
User review.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
Well, that's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan, the Melanologist Lyons.
I am a specialist in everyone named Mel.
I thought you studied melons. Well, we'll get to that
A
later.
little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You know what? I'm ready to be my best self today. What about you?
I mean, I literally just said that before we started recording, so you know I'm on board. Brah.
All right, yeah. Episode 63. This is going to be a good one. I feel it. I can feel it in the bones.
I feel like all we've been doing the last, 3 weeks is recording these podcasts. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if that's accurate.
We just recorded a fantasy football one, too, so I guess that, it kind of all starts to blend together.
Last time we recorded, I said we don't talk enough. Now I'm beginning to wonder if the opposite's true, but...
Well,
Jordan,
you know what you're going to do to remedy that? You're going to take a vacation.
I'm taking a little vacay, yeah. We're recording this the day of the release of episode 62. It's a Wednesday. We usually record on Fridays. I'm heading to Nashville tomorrow, Jordan.
Wow, it sounds like you're going to be having a good time. Going to spend some time with some friends, go on some couple dates, explore the city, right?
I would say so, yeah. I think all those things are true. I've driven past Nashville on the way to Florida a handful of times as a youngster, but I've never stopped in the city. It's supposed to be fun. Looking forward to hearing some good music, having some drinks, and spending time with my dear friends. Unfortunately, you're not a part of that dear friend
I'm not
group.
a dear friend.
You're not a dear friend? You're just... No, you certainly are, but just didn't intersect this time around. But yeah, I'm very much excited. I don't know what to expect. Maybe a Johnny Cash museum or something.
Wow. Yeah, you'll have to keep us filled in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any home improvement kind of stuff I can do down there.
Well, I mean, you're always on the lookout for different home improvement stores.
I said I was going to do that in Denver, and I most certainly did not. So maybe this time around,
you just become too busy. It's just too much excitement.
The second you're on vacation, you don't really want to think about home improvement as much, but maybe this time it'll be different.
You definitely don't want to pull out your phone and start taking pictures of tools and anything like that. So.
I mean, not really, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, that does sound like it's going to be fun and exciting. It reminds me of something fun and exciting that we're also going to be doing together for once. And that's a giveaway. We're going to be putting on a giveaway for our listening audience, for our passionate fans, for our tool men and women, our neighbors, if you will.
Handy men, handy women. Yeah.
Handy men.
Just like the board game posits, you have to refer to everyone by handy men and handy women. Yeah, Jordan, we certainly are. We have... I would imagine this is our first giveaway. I can't think of anything else we've done, so sorry it took so long. Sorry it took 63 episodes for us.
I like that you're not sure. We could have given stuff away and didn't know.
We've been requesting money for 63 episodes. This is the first time we're going to give something in return. Yes, Jordan, we are giving away a paperback copy of Tim Allen's infamous text. You know it from Bits of Wisdom. You know it from its time spent in the New York Times bestseller list. We're giving away a copy of Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man. But guess what, Jordan? There's more because...
Just wait, there's more.
Because it happens to be autographed by two of your favorite home improvement co-hosts. And I'm not talking about those guys that started that Auga podcast that's still our domain name. No, I'm talking about us. Adam and Jordan have autographed a copy of Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man. I've penned a little message in there. We'll also be including a Home and Podcast sticker. So it's a pretty sweet giveaway, Jordan.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. You've been holding on to that grudge from that other podcast for 63 episodes now, and it finally came out.
I've never mentioned it until now?
I don't think so. It's been veiled references and stuff.
I'll just address it on an episode moving forward.
We might have a standalone episode.
I'll use the whole cold open to talk about that. But back to the giveaway.
Yeah,
Jordan,
I bet you people are wondering how they can enter to win this crazy, awesome prize.
Well, as they used to say on Cartoon Network giveaways that I would kind of enter as a youngin', many will enter, few will win. One will win specifically. And winners will be chosen. And how do you become a potential winner? Well, you have to write us a review on iTunes and or become a Patreon patron.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Right.
You did that well. Yeah, so that means you can have up to 2 entries in this contest. So you could write a review, and you could also become a patron for $1 a month, and both will get you 1 entry for this fine, fine prize. I know what you're wondering. When you write a review on iTunes, sometimes you've got a nice little like screen name, username
Pseudonym
thing going
almost,
on. Pseudonym, yeah. So we're going to go by the honor system. If you have written a review or you will be writing a review and you feel like just keeping yourself anonymous, feel free to email us or tweet at us or any of those things, and we'll make sure that you get your entry in there one way or another. So that's the way we're going to do honor system. I know that nobody's going to cheat in this. I know the prize is big, but I know that our integrity is bigger.
Stakes are high. Jordan, here's a question. If someone has already written us an iTunes review or given money to us via Patreon or PayPal, are they eligible?
Guess what? They're in.
Whoa, indoctrinated in.
You didn't even know what you were doing at the time. You were entering quite a great prize fest here. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see, if we get past 16 reviews on iTunes. Maybe we will.
This is our feeble attempt to get like 17 iTunes reviews. No, I mean, obviously we can't send you the book if you don't take credit for your iTunes review. So, again, if you leave one, let us know you did it or make it clear via your username. And yeah, I think how long are we gonna do this? Is it all of October or till the end of season 3? Okay.
Yeah, so all October. This is gonna be maybe a Thanksgiving present, an early Christmas present for one lucky winner.
Yeah, and we'll like I said, we'll send you the book. We're covering all the shipping costs. We're gonna give you a sticker. It's autographed.
No, you have to pay shipping and handling.
All you got to do is give us an iTunes review and or donate to the Patreon. And this sweet giveaway is yours. I mean, 2 of your potentially favorite podcast hosts sending you an autographed book. Does it get any better than that? I don't know.
Yeah. We'll ship anywhere around the world too. So if you're in Canada, if you're in Europe, if you're in Australia, if you're on the moon, we'll ship it there.
What if you're in Karn?
Well, that's a very confusing thing that we can get to later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later on. All right. Well, yeah. So I guess we'll keep mentioning this moving forward, and you're
gonna have to hear about it for the next 4 weeks.
This is gonna be a mainstay for 4 weeks, so it could be worse. So what are we calling this contest? The Great Home and Podcast Giveaway.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So the Great Home and Podcast Giveaway begins now.
Hopefully number 1.
One of many. What are we covering this week?
Yeah, we're going to cover episode 63 is going to be Dream On. And this one was written by Paul Wolf with 2 Fs. This is his first... Howlin' at the Moon. This is the first of 2 episodes written by Paul. Another one is written later in this season. Paul also was a mainstay on Remington Steele, Little House on the Prairie, Family Ties, and he created and wrote for Annie McGuire, which was a show starring Mary Tyler Moore, which only lasted 10 episodes, but it sounds like
Mary Tyler Moore's other show.
I think she's had like 3. Yeah. So, didn't quite do as well as the Mary Tyler Moore show. Wow, that is a mouthful.
Is it?
That show. MTM.
Yeah.
MTMS. This one aired January 12th, 1994. We've got some plot keywords this time around that are actually interesting. Okay. So I'm going to read a couple. I want you to pick out a couple that you want to dive deeper into. So first one we've got is dream, which is kind of boring, but oh well. Next one is scene during end credits. Very specific. We've got dating. We've got apology. We've got Scrabble. We've got
Scrabble for me, will you?
Scrabble? Mm-hmm. All right. The other ones we've got are jealousy, costume, and allergy. So marinate on those while I click on the Scrabble here.
Marinating.
Oh, wow. The first couple for Scrabble are The Handmaid's Tale. 2 different editions of it. The recent Emmy winner and an 80s one. Okay. We've also got Black Hawk Down, a series of unfortunate events, which I don't remember there being Scrabble in that. Charlie's Angels, Superman Returns. Wow, there's quite a bit here.
Who knew Scrabble was such a fixture in American cinema and television?
Barney's Vacation, or no, Barney's Version, sorry. Barney's Vacation.
Jordan had Jaeger bombs this morning.
Ooh, another Tim Allen film is in this, though.
Santa Claus.
Nope. The
Jungle
Shaggy Dog.
The Shaggy Dog. Yes.
That's one we're going to be covering sometime soon, right?
We'll see how things go. Let's not bite off. Let's not bite off more than we can chew. Just as the Shaggy Dog would
So
want us to do that.
Scrabble apparently wildly popular. 173 titles on IMDb.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that sounds about right. What's next? I mean, sure. Yeah.
Sure, that's great.
Cool.
I don't know. Yeah, let's move on. Let's get into our titles.
All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 per usual. Mr. 4. It's
and
like
3 is a magic number.
Mr. 3000, the Bernie Mac movie.
We've talked about that way too much.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So I have 4. The name of the episode's Dream On. I know I say this every week, and I know that I say that I say this every week. This was hard, and I don't think any of mine are funny.
All right. Well, I'll let you go first then.
How many do you have?
3.
Yeah, you would. All right. First one, horsing around. Tim rides a horse in the dream. You're generous if you're laughing at that.
And there's a horse joke later on. She says she could eat a horse, which actually made me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Sweet dreams are made of team.
Well, that's pretty good. And I got something like this. All right. Tim Taylor dreaming on such a winter's day.
I do like that one. Nice job.
Thanks.
All right. This one's a little dirtier.
Oh, I got a dirty one too.
Okay.
If there's one thing this podcast is, it's dirty.
All right. It's naughty. All right. Nocturnal contrition.
Nocturnal contrition. Do I understand it? What? I mean, I know what both of those words mean.
All right, nocturnal contrition. Contrition is mostly referring to Al being very sorry for what he did.
Yeah.
Nocturnal emission is what it rhymes with.
Oh! I just wasn't picking up on the rhyme. Okay. All right, mine is. I'll save my dirty one for last, but it's much less subtle. All right, third one, the Jung and the restful.
Okay.
Sleeping.
Yeah, she's getting some rest. I like it.
Yeah. All right, last one.
You're really. I gotta say, you're really hard on yourself. I think
Jordan,
we need to set the bar.
It's been said I'm my own worst critic.
Who said that? All right. It wasn't me. Yeah. Anyways, last one. Me Tarzan, you insane.
Oh, this is perfect. Me Tarzan, you horny.
Definitely not subtle.
I told you. And that was the first one I came up with, so.
All right. I don't know. We've had worse.
They always end up being about the same, regardless of how we feel before we say them. They're always pretty average. But
wow. All right. Plot synopsis, not Bernie, not Tony Topola, but we got a short one, and it's by, I like to say SC Gary 66, but it also could be Sagary 66. We just don't know. But he says, or she says, Eileen is furious with Al after he tells Tim about an embarrassing dream Eileen had about Tim, which Tim then tells to Jill.
That is confusing. There are so many names. Eileen,
a lot of Tim.
Al, Tim, Eileen, Tim, Jill, all in one sentence.
All in one sentence. A very long run-on sentence.
So thank you. It was short.
Yeah. Sagary 66, thank you. I guess that means we can get into Dream On.
Dream on, dream on. Yeah, exactly. I tried to do something with that, but there's a lot of songs with dream in them, but
it just didn't make a lot of sense.
It just didn't work. All right, you want to take the opening scene?
Sure. We're going to open with Heidi doing her usual, belting out the familiar opening to the show. The logo hops on through doing the same exact thing as last week. I thought that was kind of a cop-out for the logo.
I didn't see it, so new. I can't say.
You're never watching for that logo.
I was doing something else.
Yeah, you did tell me the second time you watched was not an in-depth watch.
I'm leaving for a vacation tomorrow. I'm doing the best that I can.
All right, so let's talk about refinishing some tables and some woodwork here. While we do that, we do learn that Tim has a Finnish uncle named Lars, so that was super funny and clever. They're refinishing a wood table. They've got their protective gloves on, their eyewear, their mask. But Tim says, I don't really care about wearing these gloves. I think that's ridiculous. I'm not going to develop an allergy over time to all of this wood that I'm sanding off. But Al tries to warn him, and Al turns out to be right, because Tim's hands, they really balloon up here. It's like that surgical glove thing where you fill it with air or water. And that's what happens to Tim's hands. So it's a really good gag.
It's very complex. I mean, it's like the balloon or the whatever the latex gloves are flesh colored, and he just kind of puts his hands up, and they just keep getting bigger. The gags on Tool Time are definitely getting more extensive, and I suppose like visually impressive. We've come a long way since like the old 1, 2, 3 visual
what
gag.
I miss?
But what do you miss?
Yeah, I kind of miss the 3 pictures.
Yeah, I don't know. These kind of gags are it feels too like television
forced
for me. Forced, yeah. Like he wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. Like Tim is not such a ingenious practical joker. Like it's one thing if he's got like these clever little disses, or he has a picture of Al's mom as a tapestry or something. But this is just a little bit too complex. This reminded me of like a fancy haunted house or something. Like I don't know where Tim's coming up with these ideas, or who is really
it's probably Klaus
putting them into practice. I don't know. Did you like this?
No, I did not like this.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's more believable than Al's mom as Godzilla, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, though. They're getting too zany with these opening bits. It's like they're trying to just
come back down to earth, guys.
Heightening. I'd rather just see like pratfalls or something. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen next. But
submarine sandwiches.
All right, next scene, backstage, and I did appreciate this because at least Tim is like talking. He's kind of acknowledging the hand gag that he just pulled, like talking about how it was successful or how he pulled it off, and I guess that added a little bit of realism. We find out that Al and Eileen were supposed to come to dinner tonight, which is convenient, I would say. But Al is being kind of cagey. He says that he can't make it he doesn't really give a good reason. But
he's so salty.
He's salty. Tim senses that something is wrong, and it doesn't take much for Al to divulge that information. And we find out that Eileen had a passionate dream about Tim riding a golden stallion in bicycle shorts. And Jordan, I've had the same dream about you probably 15 times.
Well, and the weird thing is that you keep telling me every time that you have it.
Every time.
It makes me very
you
uncomfortable.
in the middle of the night. Yeah, I wake up and see. You won't believe the dream I just had.
I can't tell you how many mornings I've woken up to a text from Adam that says very strange things.
The text says, the dream is always the same. No. So Al's mad about this. Tim kind of goads him and pokes fun at the situation like Tim would, and Al is upset. He's frustrated. It's sort of defies logic, Al's behavior in this episode, because he's mad at Tim, but Tim didn't really have anything to do with it. I guess Tim is adding fuel to the fire by just making fun of him. But that's essentially it.
Can I just say that I really like this as the base of a show? It seems so outrageous that I just enjoy it. And it goes on to be outrageous. So.
It is pretty outrageous. I do appreciate this as a premise for an episode. It
seems like something
idea.
Stupid that we would come up with. So I'm okay with it.
It's pretty stupid. I guess it's more interesting than them going to driving in circles and ending up in a convenience store in Ohio, or like Jill getting into a fight with her parents, or letting the kids spend their money on baseball cards. As a premise, this works. There are highs and lows, and we'll talk about those at the end. But next scene.
Yeah. Next scene, the boys are at home playing Scrabble.
Wow.
We learn
this is just like really strange. Why they would?
We've never seen these boys sit down and like play a board game together, but I'm glad they're bonding.
Mark appropriately plays the most simple word imaginable: eat.
Yep, he plays eat. Randy appropriately plays like a boss word. He plays melon. He gets like a double word score. He's doing pretty well for himself.
Gets 14 points. Isn't really that good.
Well, he's like 12, so whatever. Brad over there, he's keeping score, which at first is the strangest thing.
Seems like
why would Brad
choice.
be keeping score?
Yeah.
Out of anybody. And then he's gonna one up his brother here. He puts on ology onto melon for 16 points, and melanology, the study of melons. I do like that he knows what ology means.
Yeah, that is curious. Randy's face in this scene is pretty classic. Like his like dumbfounded look when Brad plays Melanology got a laugh out of me. It's good.
Yeah.
Good acting.
No, I thought this was as silly as this was, I thought it was pretty funny as well. Tim comes home. He loves that Brad played Melanology. He's impressed because to him the study of Mel's, people named Mel, is Melanology.
Yeah, that was stupid.
It was dumb, but Tim and Jill move into the garage. Jill is doing laundry per the usual. She does break it to him that it is not a word, but then they move on to talk about, very quickly, Tim divulges the dream, which he promised not to tell anyone else, which, I mean, we're not shocked by this at all. We do also learn that dinner is back on here, and I did want to note that Tim has a sweatshirt we haven't seen before, a tiger sweatshirt.
Bless you, boys.
Bless you, boys.
I like that.
Classic.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's a classic. So anyways, back to what they're actually talking about. Jill is laughing at Tim and his pride because he's feeling pretty good that a woman has dreamed about him. And
Would you say that Tim is on his high horse?
We've made way too many horse noises in this show. And I'm not just talking about this episode in general.
Yes.
But yeah. So, yeah, he also is saying that the women who watch Tool Time, eventually they dream about him, he assumes. Jill is just kind of like laughing and kind of playing it off. She's not impressed by this. She's saying she doesn't even dream of Tim because she has to see him so much in real life. She tries to escape him.
She says that Eileen
dreams.
must have eaten a bean burrito before bed, and that's why she didn't dream about him, which I don't really get, but it seems kind of funny.
Hey, it works for me.
Yeah.
They do walk in. They hand the laundry to the boys, and they willingly take it and fold it.
Yeah, what was this all about?
We really don't know. What?
Do you think they cut a storyline or something with the kids?
Yeah, because it seems like there should be more to that.
Yeah,
like,
they're
why
acting
were they
suspicious, and she acknowledges that they're acting suspicious, but then there's nothing comes of it. So I feel like they must have cut their plot line or something.
Yeah, it seems like there's just too much going on with Tarzan and Scooby-Doo jokes that they don't have time for this plot.
Me, Tarzan, Jill Horny.
All right, so, what does Jill dream about? She dreams about Tarzan, and then, after, Tim says maybe
Tim
she
really
dreams about
presses, Tim really pushes this also.
I don't know why he wants to know this.
She doesn't care about Eileen's dreams. She doesn't care about dreams in general. She's really not interested at all, but Tim pushes it, and he says before that he wonders if she has dreams about Scooby-Doo, and I'm thinking, well, that's weird. Like, sexual Scooby-Doo dreams? I don't know.
Well, they end up going Scooby diving.
Yes, or on the Scooby Beach, which was played as a joke, but I don't, like, a Scooby Beach, that's not a joke.
All right, so, yeah, he does, she has dreams about her and Tarzan. She has a leopard outfit and giant knockers, which conveniently, Tim also has this dream.
That was, when she said that, I was kind of aghast. Like, she says she,
it was
in
a
her dream,
very big surprise.
Big, beautiful breasts, and I'm thinking, like, oh, we've never heard anything quite like that on this show.
This part of the scene here is a little risque.
They were kind of losing me until I heard that, and I was like, okay, well, I better scoot back in.
They were trying to get you back in focus.
It was at this point in the episode that I did write that this episode is not funny. Like I wrote in my notes, but I do think that things change here. As it goes on, it gets a little bit better, but at this point I was not in on the episode.
No, you weren't in. Well, What about when Jill decides to basically just describe a sex scene in her head and she gets all flushed?
It was graphic, and then she says, is it hot in here, or is it just me?
So that's how that scene ends.
Yeah.
And,
it's okay. It's weird. It's kind of strange, though. It
is a little bit off-brand for Home Improvement. A little bit more risque.
Well, this was actually a special installment of Home Improvement After Dark. So.
Oh, you see, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that at the beginning.
Didn't you read the trivia?
A lot.
The IMDb trivia.
Yeah, they have place like a stamp on the episode title or something when it's Home Improvement After Dark. Is that what they do?
Well, it's TVMA.
Ah, okay, that's it. Okay. So later at home, Al and Eileen have not arrived yet.
It's 7:10. They were supposed to come at 7. Jill's freaking out, as one would not.
That is, yeah. Maybe for Al, that's maybe he's usually there like 30 minutes early. I don't know.
He seems like the type of guy that would show up hours early to
Well, we know Eileen often has like.
Eileen's always late because of her orthodontal
emergencies.
whatever
Emergencies.
Yeah. But we'll learn more about her job. in the
Yeah,
scene.
we will. So Tim continues to make jokes about her dream before she arrives, and Jill says, "Knock it off. We can't do this. She will not like that." Which, I mean, unless she has a pretty decent sense of humor, this would be very embarrassing for her.
It's just awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, very awkward. So they do arrive. Al brought a tart, and Tim makes a joke.
Jim Taylor, Tim's evil twin brother.
I feel like that's where we're at right now in this bizarro episode. But Tim does make a joke that you shouldn't call Eileen a tart. And Eileen uses this hilarious joke to say that Tim is funny, and it makes Al jealous right away. He's already on edge a little bit about this dream, and this he's only going to be further pushed over the edge here.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
There's some idle chit-chat. Eileen had a tough day at work. Al makes a pun about pulling teeth that no one gets or thinks is funny.
I think everybody gets it. I just think no one thinks it's funny. And they were right. It's not that funny. But it's also probably as funny as Tim's tart joke.
Yeah.
If not funnier. I don't know.
And I feel like you laugh at that stuff just to be nice. They're your friends.
Yeah. I mean, if you said that, I would definitely laugh.
For sure. Although you won't take me with you to Nashville.
I can't. I just can't. Sorry.
You just can't fit me. All right, so Eileen is so hungry that she could eat a horse.
Well,
which
one thing I wanted to say was, so Al makes this joke about pulling teeth, and then Eileen is quick to correct him and say that orthodontists don't pull teeth. Just seemed kind of odd. Like, what does she stand? Like, I don't know. Al is sensitive.
Trying to bring him back down to reality.
What does she stand to gain by saying that? By that correction? Like, obvious. Like, I mean, I don't think he.
Maybe that's just like a huge misnomer that she hears in her work all the time, and she really just wants to nip it in the bud.
She wants to set the story straight, I guess. But it just seemed odd. Like, maybe she doesn't know that Al's bothered by the dream, but if she was aware that he was feeling
sensitive. Can any of our orthodontists out there write to us and let us know? Is this something that you're really miffed about usually?
I happen to know that we have, I would say 50% of our listeners are orthodontists, so...
The dental field loves home and podcasts.
Yeah.
All right, so can we get to the horse now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we beating the dead horse here?
Nah, almost.
Almost. All right, so Eileen is so hungry she could eat a horse, which really just... This is where things start to spiral out of control. Tim can't help himself at this point. He says Jill has cooked stallion, and then he switches it to big golden scallion, trying to save it. And then he mentions, well, at least I didn't say it was bike shorts, and, well, the cat's out of the bag now.
That's what Eileen knows. She knows that Al divulged, and then there's kind of a, like, you told her, he told her, they told him, like...
Things escalate quickly, yeah, and everyone's mad at everybody. Everybody's at fault here, except for Eileen. She's very embarrassed. She wants to leave. They go outside and they start to argue. And during this process, Tim also tries to make it easier by telling everyone about Jill's Tarzan dreams. So,
yeah, Eileen storms outside and Tim says, well, Jill dreams about Tarzan. And then now Jill's mad at Tim. So Tim he's, dare I say, ruining everything?
He's doing his best to. So the next scene is just a little bit later. The same night, they have Tim spying outside on Eileen and Al as they argue.
It's kind of awkward that they're just outside on the patio. What they should have just left.
Yeah,
I don't know. That just struck me as being like making an awkward situation even more awkward by arguing about 10 feet away from. I mean, I guess
at least go to the car. I guess, and it's cold outside.
Yeah, we learned about 15 degrees. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Just struck me as being kind of strange, but
yeah, it is a little strange. So Tim and Jill are continuing their fight on the inside as well. Tim is being an idiot. Al comes in. Things have gone to the worst.
Tim says, how do you think I'm feeling? Like, Jill's doing the thing where it's like, how do you think Al's feeling? Tim says, how do you think I'm feeling? And he realizes that, like, he hasn't been wronged in the slightest this whole episode. That was kind of funny.
He's not critically thinking here. Al does come in. It looks like Eileen broke up with him and took his car. Tim says she'll be back because otherwise it's Grand Theft Auto, which
Good line.
I laughed. Yeah, it was unexpected as well. So
it seems strange to me that Eileen broke up with Al. They must not be very serious.
They were on the rocks before,
based solely on this interaction. But I don't know.
Yeah, there's a reason that she's showing up late for everything.
You're saying there's another man, an orthodontist?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yep. So let's move outside to where it is a little chilly. Mm-hmm. And
I'll take this one, Jordan. I feel like you've been doing the legwork here, and I need to take
a rest. All right. So go ahead.
Don't silence me. So we're, look, after I say that, I look at my notes and I see I don't have a lot to say. Well, you know what? All right, so Wilson is, it's nightfall, and Wilson is, he's reacquainting himself with Tai Chi, which I don't really know a lot about Tai Chi, Jordan. It looks like karate, perhaps, but it involves sort of Zen relaxation.
It does have a little bit more meditation built in here. Okay,
all right, well, looks cool. I mean, he's doing it at night. Tim kind of divulges a situation, or he informs Wilson of what has transpired, as he's wont to do in such segments. Should we just play a clip here?
Yeah, I think you've gotten ahead of yourself. You've put the cart ahead of the horse here. Myself.
I promised myself I would never do that, but I think last episode we did not play the Wilson clip, but this one's better. So before I go ahead and just ruin everything by explaining it, let's play the clip first.
Practicing for the ballet, Wilson?
No, Tim, I'm just reacquainting myself with Tai Chi, an ancient form of Chinese exercise. It balances the female and the male, the yin and the yang.
Over here, the yin thinks the yang is a yidiot.
Troubles, neighbor Tim?
I don't know, troubles. Al's girlfriend, Eileen, had a dream about me, so I made a joke about it, and she got upset and broke up with Al, and Jill thinks it's all my fault.
Well, Tim, humor can be a wonderful thing. The Quran says he deserves paradise who makes his companions laugh.
Yeah. Those Koreans know what's funny.
On the other hand, Tim, Cervantes, the 16th century novelist, said, "A jest that gives pain is no jest." In this case, you might have caused a little bit of pain.
Well, I certainly didn't mean to. Jokes are what I'm all about. That's why people like me.
Well, maybe sometimes you go too far.
I just didn't take the dream that seriously.
Some people do. Dreams can have a deep and profound meaning. You know what the psychoanalyst Carl Jung said?
Yin, yang, Jung. Where does it end, Wilson?
Jung said that dreams were merely symbols of something else. Plus, he recognized the significance of names and letters in dreams. In particular, first initials.
First initials, huh? Jill dreams about Tarzan and Jane. That's a T and a J. She's Jane. That's Jill. T could be Tim. Tim and Jill. We're Tarzan and Jane.
Very good, Tarzan. Jung would be impressed.
Wilson is doing Tai Chi in the darkness. Tim comes out and he tells Wilson, sorry, we've had a real tough time with this, so I'm just trying to put it in very simple terms, so I just keep tripping over my own feet.
You're being very deliberate so you don't mess up what's going on here.
As I do this description. So, Tim comes out and he describes the situation, as Tim is wont to do, and he says, everyone's mad at me. Just the whole situation. Everybody's upset with Tim. I try to be funny, and sometimes it backfires, but I don't take things too seriously. And Wilson says that the Quran describes humor as being wonderful. And then Tim says, yeah, those Koreans really have it figured out, which I think is funny, but is probably offensive.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It's stupid.
It's a good line.
Yeah, he obviously doesn't know what the Quran is. Yeah, he's an idiot. That's what it says to me.
So Wilson says, on one hand, humor is wonderful. It's important to have humor. But then Miguel Cervantes says that a jest that goes too far, or a jest that is mean, is really no jest at all. So flip sides of the same.
He often does that. He gives perspective on both. But here's the thing. Wisdom often requires you to use critical thinking on when to apply which of these things works. So it makes sense.
Did you say wisdom?
I always do.
Bits of wisdom. Tim Wilson says, maybe sometimes you go too far, and then they talk a little bit about dream. There's a lot of name dropping, and there's a lot of different. Wilson is really. He's been reading up for this scene, so then he talks about going too far, and Tim says that people take dreams more seriously than he does, and Wilson says, well, Carl Jung says that dreams are symbolic, and then he kind of describes the importance of numbers and initials in dreams, and so on and so forth. It's a good scene. It doesn't really help Tim at all, but I do kind of, I like the sentiment here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it helps him to. He's so far on one side right now. He thinks everything's a joke, and it gives him a little bit more balance because you have both sides. So I think that's what Wilson's trying to do here.
Yeah, I think Wilson does it well.
Yeah, I mean, and it starts from the very beginning when they talk about yin and yang, the balance of male and female. So the whole scene is about balance.
Yang, Jung. What else you got?
What else you got? So yeah, it is a better Wilson scene as of late. So
I think Wilson should reacquaint himself with Tai Chi more often.
Especially at night.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're back to Tool time. Al has gotten a ride from Lisa because Heidi. He got a ride from Lisa. He got a ride from Heidi because Eileen still has his car, which is strange. You would have thought that would have solved itself. And Tim is trying to apologize to Al. He's not doing a great job, but he asked Al if he wants to rehearse, which is like a funny way to apologize. I'd like to see them rehearsing for the show. It doesn't seem like a show that really needs a rehearsal, but perhaps they should.
Kind of like ours.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely should rehearse.
Yeah.
He doesn't really apologize at first, and Al says, is this your apology? Is this what you're doing? And Tim, he does a better job the second time around. He says, I poke fun at you and I make fun of you because I consider you a brother. And
Al turns like he crumbles. His heart softens.
Try to say goodbye and I choke. Call me a brother, I crumble.
All right.
Al cries, and they embrace. And guess what? Guess who's there, Jordan?
This is convenient timing. Eileen shows up.
This is sitcom logic. Eileen is there watching as she's standing in the bleachers, and she
gives Al the keys, and then she's like, "I'm out." And
she would if Al didn't apologize here, they would seemingly be done.
Yeah,
forever,
and Al only goes to apologize because Tim pushes him to do so. So,
do you think Al should apologize? I guess he should.
Yeah. I mean, he broke her confidence. She said, "Don't." I mean, he embarrassed her.
Tim embarrassed her, though.
Well, yeah, but she told him something in confidence that you're not going to tell the person that the dream is about. So
yeah, I guess I don't know.
Al is an enabler here. That's what he is. He should know better.
Well, yeah, he should have never said anything, I suppose.
Yep.
So they.
Well, Al says he didn't feel manly enough for her. So she goes on to say that he's the manliest man, and Al goes on to say, why did you dream of Tim? And I want to say, like, because you don't really pick what you dream about usually, but
right, yeah,
that's if we start asking questions like that, then this whole episode is worthless. So. Tim wants to take a stab at this, and he does his thing where he fails miserably to take Wilson's advice.
It was funny though, because I like Al's response is like, "Thanks, Tim.
You've been a real help.
You've been very helpful." Yeah, that was pretty funny. And then Tim leaves, and Al and Eileen just start like
making out.
Hardcore. I mean, it's a legitimate makeout. Like they were really going at it.
Yeah, they were.
Nothing. I was thinking, oh yeah. Home Improvement After Dark, V2. No, they really got it. Tim comes back, and he sees them
stands
making
for
out.
ta-ta.
Ta-ta, gotta go. And then they continue to make out in the bleachers, and I'm thinking, whoa.
Yeah.
Thinking Al's getting lucky.
It's like a high school football game over here.
Yeah, except that's underneath the bleachers, or so I was led to believe. I don't know.
You were on the field.
You'd probably know more about that than me.
I will not tell. All right, so that's that scene. All is well. At home, this is perhaps my favorite scene in the whole episode. Tim has set up some roses, some wine, fancy tableware, some music for a nice dinner with his wife. Jill comes down, but Tim is nowhere to be found. And then all of a sudden, out the back door, there is a swinging man, and it is Tarzan. And I found this just very unexpected. I did not see this coming at all. Maybe you did, but I just didn't think it was going to happen. And he swings in, he opens the door, he's got like this chest plate on, like a Halloween costume, and it's, he's all rippled. And it's pretty amazing to me. I thought it was very funny. Seems like... we have a lot of these things where they mention Randy's race or they don't show it. This time they talk about Tarzan and they do show it. So I do like that.
Yeah, they went out and totally redeemed themselves with this one. I was surprised. I did not. Yeah, I had no suspicion of this at all. But when I saw the candlelight dinner and Tim was nowhere to be found, I did kind of suspect that he was going to swing in as Tarzan. And it was funny. I mean, it's completely absurd, but I appreciated it as a bookend of the episode, certainly.
Absolutely. So that there's an outtake right after that, some blown up hands that won't go down, and some jokes that I don't really think are funny, and that's episode 63. Dream on.
Roll credits, fade to black. Dream on. All right, Jordan. What did you think of Dream On? Highs and lows.
Highs and lows. Overall, I thought it was a really good episode. I do like the absurd premise. I guess that's just kind of the humor that I like with shows like Parks and Rec and stuff like that. That's just kind of my humor. So that really, really worked for me. I did enjoy the scene, like the chaotic scene of Eileen finding out that Al told Tim and like everyone bickering over everything. I just thought that was, it's almost like the episode was leading up to that moment and things really blow up at that moment. The dream in general, like I said, is a great, coffee.
Some of those brought to you by Mr. Coffee. I'm getting, I say it every time, I'm just getting less enthused.
Yeah, now you're just kind of miffed with the coffee. Tarzan jokes worked really well for me. Grand Theft Auto jokes, the yin and the yang, the Wilson scene, which I thought was more applicable and a good, scene of balance. I really liked a lot of those things. The lows, the opening scene, tool time gags just aren't really working for me right now. But other than that, I just enjoyed it. It was good. I even liked the melon jokes. It was good.
All right, Jordan.
What are your thoughts?
I think I liked this one a little bit less than you did.
Sure.
But I did like it. To focus on the highs, I think we agree on many of the same things. I liked the final Tarzan swinging in on a vine scene. The boys playing Scrabble was fairly humorous, and I thought the Wilson scene was not funny, but well done, applicable, interesting, and returned to form in many ways. In terms of lows, I guess I didn't find the premise or the absurdity of the premise to be as funny as you did. I thought it was maybe a little bit flimsy, but other lows, obviously the opening scene was quite dumb. I agree with you that they just haven't had a good opening scene in quite a while, and the visual gags just getting more and more kind of outlandish isn't working for me.
No.
I don't know. Al and Eileen fighting, their reconciliation. I don't know, just something about it. I just wasn't necessarily that interested. Maybe I'm just not interested in them as a couple yet, but I'm open to getting there. But yeah, I liked it. Didn't love it, but slightly above average for me.
I would like to know, what were those boys up to?
I don't think we'll ever know. You have to assume they cut their storyline or something, because they're definitely setting something up with that sort of a response.
Seems like they should have given Paul Wolf an hour-long episode here to really flesh that out.
Yeah, it'd be funny if they just randomly gave him an hour long just to really sink his teeth in.
I mean, he did do that Mary Tyler Moore show. I mean, what else do you want out of a writer?
This is a controversial opinion, but I think every Home Improvement episode would be better if they had double the amount of time to get, because everything always feels rushed.
Yeah, there's a lot. Sometimes there's
like
a million.
Not every episode, but like it would eliminate the illogical leaps. I know that goes against the format and the sitcom kind of structure, but I think a lot of Home Improvement episodes would be better if they were 44 minutes. But I'm also glad that we don't have to do a podcast on a show that's 44 minutes.
That might be a 2-hour-long podcast. I'm not sure we could keep people engaged that long, but
probably not.
If we do want to keep people engaged right now, we can do so. So let's move over to Sean's social media roundup. What do you say?
I say do it.
I say nay. All right. So if you want to reach out to us, you can do so thehomeandpodcast.com. Email us at homeandpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, we're at homeandpodcast. Facebook, facebook.com/homeandpodcast. If you want to get in on that sweet giveaway that we talked about for that book, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man.
Sweet as nectar, baby.
Signed by your favorite podcast hosts, including a sticker. You can leave us an iTunes review. There's a link to that on our website in all of our posts. You can also sign up to be a patron on Patreon at patreon.com/homeandpodcast.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, there's a lot of P's there. A lot of P's. All right, so Adam, what's going on in the Twitter sphere?
So Twitter today, like we noted at the top of the episode, I've only posted these tweets about 2 hours ago, but I've got some photos of the game from last week. Various pictures taken.
They're great shots. They're great shots. Can I say that?
Fantastic shots taken with a fantastic camera, taken by a fantastic photographer. That's not me. The poll is important this week. It's more important than usual because it will determine, and this will be the be-all, end-all, and the determinant of whether or not we do this. So the poll is, if we played the Home Improvement board game, specifically the Home Improvement Handyman game, and recorded it as an episode, would you listen? And I don't care if we only get, we have 6 votes, but I don't care if we only get 7 votes. Whatever is decided, whatever is the majority, will be what we do.
And you know what?
As of right... Go ahead.
I was going to say, and it might actually be a video podcast as well. So this has really high stakes. I mean, I think the visual would be important here, but we talked about how sometimes we like to you make the polls, but sometimes we also vote in them. We're not voting in this one. This is too important to us.
Because if I voted, I would say no. So as of right now, if we played the game and recorded as an episode, we have 6 votes. 33% say no, 67% say yes.
Oh, man. All right, keep voting, people. Wow. We need to know.
Yeah, we need to know. One more thing. Mark Volbeck, super fan.
Is this going to be mailbag material here?
I don't care. I'm going to say it now.
All right.
He sent us a Tim Allen video on Twitter. He was on Norm Macdonald Live. And it's fairly recent, and and Mark says this is really interesting stuff at Home and Podcast, especially about how fans perceive him working with kids on Santa Claus. And I listened to a little bit of this. It's a video, it's a YouTube video, but it does seem quite interesting. It's about an hour long, and I do plan. I think
we
Jordan,
should watch
maybe
that.
We should both watch it and then talk about it in an upcoming episode. But I retweeted it, and I would say it's worth your time. And Tim looks so freaking cool in his glasses. And
he is stylish, man.
One thing I didn't, and this is when I knew I wanted to keep watching it, but Norm asks, they talk about El Camino Christmas, which we talked about a long time ago as being a Tim Allen movie that's coming out on Netflix, and Norm asked Tim, he's like, is it good work, do you like working with Netflix? And everybody always is like, yeah, Netflix is great, but he asked Tim, and Tim's like, it's kind of whatever, I don't know. I had no opinion on it. So that was pretty funny. And that's the kind of candor I'm looking for in an interview. So watch that. We'll watch that. I think we'll talk about it sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely watch that. So, all right. From one fan to another, let's open up the mailbag.
Rip it open, baby.
You've got mail.
All right, so this comes to us from the incomparable Sarah, who wrote into us on Facebook. This is a couple episodes back, but we talked about Tim had a sweatshirt on that was, I think it was Michigan State, but it had MSU in sign language, in American Sign Language.
Yep.
And you weren't sure if it was offensive or what, but Sarah says the sweatshirt is not offensive. She has friends who are deaf, and she's fluent in American Sign Language. So we've got a resident expert on that who could clear it up. So thanks for writing in, Sarah.
I don't know if I'm satisfied with that. I mean, I appreciate Sarah reaching out, but I'm not sure that
It doesn't do it for you,
tells me whether or not I wish I knew sign language, but I'm not sure if that satisfies me in terms of whether or
Adam
not it's
needs
offensive,
more context. So
I don't want any more context. Maybe I'll never be sure.
This is an unsolved mystery.
This is an unsolved mystery. Sarah, thanks for reaching out to the show.
Absolutely. So you can reach out just like all those different methods that we talked about, and please do so. Adam, time for question of the week. It's your turn. Let's hear it.
Jordan, this episode, Dream On, features Eileen dreaming on Tim on a horse. Do you have any reoccurring dreams or dreams that come to mind?
Yeah, I don't know if I have recurring dreams, but I do remember a dream that I had when I was younger. I guess it was not a dream so much as a nightmare, but
sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare?
I guess with Halloween coming up, maybe this is appropriate, but it was a dream where there was like a mass murderer or wolf man thing on the loose. And so for some reason, like, we went over to Sam's house, and we were over there. I don't know if like the power went out or whatever, but someone came to the door, just like some vagabond or wanderer, some drifter came to the door, and we let her in because we thought she was okay. And, sometime during that night, she was murdered by this wolf man. And then...
Have you talked to someone? Have you talked to a medical?
I'm going to talk to Wilson about this later. But then the next night, I'm back at my house, and it's my dad and I. We're just there, and the Wolfman comes in to attack us, and we end up killing him. So I guess, I think.
Do you lure him to the basement and then drown him in paint?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Home Alone.
I was gonna say we swung some paint cans that we had handy and hit him in the head. No, I don't remember. My dad definitely did the final blow though, so he protected us.
The death blow brought to you by Terry.
So that was a dream that scared me a lot as a kid. Just waiting for this crazy person to come out of the woods behind Sam's house and attack us.
Those woods are scary.
Us.
I would have been afraid of those woods as a young man, and as an older man, I'm still kind of afraid of them.
Any dreams for you that are recurring or memorable?
Yeah, I find that I have quite a few dreams about high school football, which is kind of strange because I don't.
You're constantly talking to me about it, living in the glory days, so it doesn't seem strange to me.
It's really not true at all. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. I look back on it fondly, but I was pretty happy with how things went in my high school football career. I don't relive the glory days. I don't miss it or anything. But I do find that I had a dream, I think within the last couple of weeks, and this is how a lot of the dreams are, but it'll be me. Football season will all of a sudden just be there, and I won't be ready. Or I'll be late for a practice, or I'll miss a game, or I won't know that the season has started or something like that. So the one that happened recently was, I think and it's always the real people. I think Jeff Putnam, who was our varsity football coach, came to visit me, and he's like, "We need you on the team." Which I don't know why he would need me. I was going to play regardless, but he said, "Come play with the team. We need you to come." Maybe I already graduated or something. And he said, "Come play with the team. Come to practice. Check things out. We want you to come play with us again." So assuming, I guess I was in college, which is obviously not allowed. And I came, and he told me it was a practice, but it was a scrimmage. And I show up, and they're like, "All right, you're going in. Go in and play." And I was just inept. I could not make things happen. I was not getting a good rush on the quarterback. I could not break through the line, and it was very, very frustrating. And that's a lot of my dreams are just I feel inept on the football field.
I feel like the unprepared, late for something trope in dreams is very, very common.
My dad describes himself as having very similar football practice related dreams.
He
so I don't
describes
know. Maybe it's
himself.
Something he describes himself as having those kind of dreams. So I don't know. Yeah, it's really weird. I'm sure something could be made of it. A lot of people spend a lot of time analyzing dreams. I'm not interested in doing that, but I do have a lot of dreams about high school football for whatever reason.
I do have quite a few about basketball now that you say it. So I guess those were important things to us. But what else is important to us? The next episode of Home Improvement specifically, which is Real Men, REEL Men. So we're gonna guess this plot line of next week's episode. I've got one handy if you want me to go first.
Go ahead.
All right. So in the similar vein that the man's bathroom was, Tool Time takes some extra time out to build a man's home theater. So they've got giant screens, they've got lazy boys, there's a free vending machine full of candy, the walls are decorated with manly movies, there's The Godfather, there's Terminator, there's James Bond posters, there's Rambo. Tim, he's taking it up a notch because he's made some modifications to the popcorn machine, and it's going to cook a little bit faster than a normal popcorn
cockroach machine. Another nightmare.
But there's going to be predictable results there. And the other plot line in this episode is the boys are inspired to make a home action movie with Wilson as the villain and Al as the hero. And Tim gets really worked up since he isn't in the hero role, so he really has to work through those emotions.
Now, did you address the fact that it's fishing at all?
Well, I went with reel as in a movie reel.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah. See, it's hard when you go first, and then I have to think of something to say, and I'm rendered.
Well, you used to. You said you would try to do something ahead of time, but I guess you're not looking.
I lied. All right. So I will take it in the fishing vein.
Well, yeah, I left it for you to take the fishing route, so there you go.
Thank you so much. I will take it in the fishing vein. It's winter. They're going to be ice fishing. Tim's going to fall through the ice. And in terms of other plot lines, Jill is frustrated with her job because she's too busy and she also has kids.
Boy, it sounds like you really prepared for that.
Isn't that how imaginative is that? I'll be honest with you, Jordan. Not my favorite segment we've ever had.
Well, maybe it won't make it much longer. So
we'll see. All right, so that's real men, and that is next week. Jordan, thanks for joining me this week. Listeners, thank you for listening, and I guess I should say, take care.
Take care, everybody.